Let's jump into college hoops though, Brett. I mean, we have a great ACC matchup of Virginia versus Florida State. I'm very intrigued about this game. How about you?
Yeah, I think this should be a great matchup, Higgins. We saw the NCAA release their 1 through 16 for the NCAA tournament, kind of how like they do for the college football playoff. They've started doing that for the NCAA tournament right now. And Virginia was in that top 16. So Virginia's a great team. Florida State's trying to prove that they're one of the best teams in the ACC. And this is a big time matchup.
It is a big time matchup, and you know what? Both of these teams, they're not necessarily their stereotypical Seminoles or Cavaliers. I mean, if this was a typical Cavaliers team, I'd be taking the under, but I'm going to be on the over 130 because overall, that's a pretty low over under for these two teams the way they've played. I mean, Florida State, they average 79 points per game. Virginia averages just under 70 points per game at 69.9. So, looking at that, these teams can absolutely score. Their defenses haven't been as strong as before. And even if you look at their over under records, I mean, the Seminoles, they've outscored their over under margins by 8 points this year, and the Cavaliers as well by 2.5 points. So this looks like an over game with a low over under as of Sunday night.
Yeah, I think the over is definitely in play, but I just wouldn't be surprised if, a Virginia Florida State game. If you told me that game hit the under, I'd be like, well, I mean, yeah, but that's just the nature of these teams and coaches. It doesn't mean it's going to be this year or this game's result. It's just when you hear those two programs matched up, you're just kind of like, oh, under. So it's almost a little contrarian, Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, it's number 9 Virginia, number 17 Florida State, but the sweet number is 65. All I need is each team to score 65, and that at least is a push at 130, which is, there's no hook on this as well. That's
Yeah,
nice.
no, that is nice. And the Apple Cup also takes place on Monday night, Higgins. Washington travels to Washington State. Normally, I would say just fade Washington, but in a rivalry game, I couldn't take Washington State minus 7.5.
Well, not to mention, Washington State was who was playing UCLA, who you had taken in last episode. You had faded Washington in both aspects last episode. One worked for you, one didn't, but I agree. Even though one of these teams is only 3-16, I can't do it.
And not in a
I can't do it.
rivalry game. I can't lay 7.5 in what'll be Washington's biggest game of the year.
It'll be interesting to see, though. I think we agree our eyes in terms of basketball on Monday night are more shifted towards the NBA that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I'm with you.